March, I'm really optimistic. It is the February 3rd meeting of the employee subcommittee for the Human Rights Commission. So this is the first of our 4 scheduled meetings for 2026. We're by the bylaws, ordinance, required to meet at least twice. When we met in December, what we talked about for this meeting was to really look at what the county was currently doing. Sorry. For employee policies, and then to see if there's any kind of follow-up action that we want to really focus on for our future report that we are required to finish by the end of the year. So I don't know if there's any place we want to start. I understand there was a county inclusion study and review done several years ago, so I don't know if there's any more information on that, or if there's been updates or anything we know about what the county's working on.
There was a barrier analysis report done, I want to say in
2021.
was it 2021?
It's all a blur.
Maybe started in 2018.
It might have been.
Yeah.
So there isn't a plan currently to update that. That might be something that you want to look at and decide whether or not you'd like to bring that up as an option.
In looking at it, like there was a section of recommendations, and one of them was like provide, probably, I can't recall them all, but it was probably like establish hiring goals and provide training to managers. And I think that's where it got a little sticky, because you don't want to have any kind of quotas or anything.
Yeah,
And so,
and if I think the Supreme Court changes happened after 2021 on some of that.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
And then it was like, there was one more. Training. So I think in my mind, and with my history of surveys, I would not want to recommend we undertake or make a recommendation for that unless there was a real need for it and a real plan for action. And I'm sure we paid somebody to do that too. It cost money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. You think it'll be, it's gonna keep doing it no matter if I, okay.
That makes sense, and I don't think we're looking for necessarily something, but more of, is that a good starting place to see if there's any current gaps, or if there's other ways to get input from county employees if there are concerns, or like where there might be areas of improvement.
So I took a look at it, and then I looked at their affirmative action plan. They have some like 2022, 2023. And I think the 2023 version referred to the barrier analysis and like some of the things that they were incorporating based on what they found. And I think one of those things, for example, was an annual EEO training, which I think is now in place.
Yes.
But the second one.
Refresher, we just finished one. Yeah.
So like that was one of the things that was going to be there. The other was, because the barrier analysis like had recommendations by each thing, but it wasn't like a final document that said you should do A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
So some of those things were pulled out into the AAP. I don't know if that's how you guys describe it. And they had like the DEIB commission, like the committee across the county and so on and so forth. But I think, I don't know who was responsible for the report, whether it's your office or someone else. Like, the question really for me is, what has been achieved since then? Like, what did we do? I don't mean like, what are we gonna do, but like,
What has been done?
Well, the annual training sounds like a good
It's great.
metric, and is the sense that it's been a good training?
Yes, it's a really good training, and for the first time, there's a real sense of responsibility. Like, I know somebody, I completed it when I first got the notification, and I just walked in on somebody and they were doing it, and I said, "Oh, you didn't finish that?" And she said, "No, but I got like 2 reminders." So it was due on the 31st or something. So we're really making sure, besides the fact that it's an excellent training, Is your voice on there? No?
Yes.
You sound great. But you know, we actually are making sure that people participate and complete it and are refreshed in it. And it just, it's kind of stuff that you don't remember all the time, and it brings it to the, you know,
Yeah.
and it has, what do you do if you feel like you are being, or you see discrimination? So what should managers do? So it gives really great directions.
And I will just say, we've also done separate training for managers and supervisors of their particular requirements and expectations and what to do. It complains to you, you become aware. We did a whole series of that, I think it was September.
Yeah.
We did that, it's like, we did a bunch of sessions, managers.
Right.
So that's really, I mean, it's already progress.
Yeah, that's great progress. So from those of you that are county employees, is there any other kind of source of information or something that you've heard that you think should be considered? Like the goal of this committee is to make sure that there's good processes for county employees if there is any sort of alleged discrimination or
I
policies
reached
or
out
training in
to,
place.
Cynthia LaChase Torres, who is the DEI manager. I'm sure I'm getting her title wrong, but
Race and equity.
thank you, thank you. And, you know, I sort of asked her, like, are there things that you guys are working on that Anna might not be aware of? And she said, no, we all met regularly. But she did, you know, and I said, so the thing that we most recently completed, was that like the end of a series? And it was, there was a series that was put out. And tell me if I get this wrong, but as I understood it from her, the final module was released and everything. And so now she said the RECT, RECT, which is the
Race and equity core team?
Yes.
okay, 14th, yeah.
It's 14.
That they're trying to determine sort of what's next,
Yeah.
what would be needed. So if, you know, you had asked the question like, do we ever have a guest speaker or whatever? That would be sort of
Yeah.
good for us to touch base with, to see if there's anything on their horizon, if they have a sense of, again, just so that to educate ourselves and to, you know, maybe we can help out if they need help.
Yeah.
The other group, I think we could consider it like as a group, not like individually, is the ERGs.
Yes.
Yep.
Um,
And how many ERGs does the county have?
no, the adding small.
Six-ish.
I mean,
Yeah.
More?
Let me look. See, there's a number of them. Different areas.
It sounds like there might be interest for the next meeting to connect with the rec team and just get a sense of what they've been seeing,
Yeah.
how the trainings have gone,
Yes.
and then just, I don't know if there's like like each year, should have their own leadership, is what I'm guessing.
So RECT is interesting. I used to be on RECT at a certain point
Yeah.
before I rolled off. So it's like a representative of different departments together with whoever is the race and equity manager. Before it was Samia, now Cynthia. So they design things to push out, and
Yeah.
then but each department runs its own racial equity action team. That's what
Okay.
we call it. So we have a READ team in AED, for example, and they produce different type of activities and different things. The one thing I'll say about RECT and REITs all over the county is that every department is at a different stage. So some are way more advanced and ahead than others, like DHS is like light years ahead of pretty much almost everyone, you know, and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. So, but at the same time, using my experience, I've also seen that I think some people feel that they're doing it because they're being forced to do it. Let me just be honest. And then there's some who really value it. And so the rec team, led by Cynthia, they want to come up with plans that everyone can do.
Mhm.
But I think every division, every group, every organization is different.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the needs of your DOT are going to be very different. JHS. That's just their different missions of those agencies.
And are 11 ERGs?
Okay, that's a lot.
And we also, for our budget presentations with the board, have a section typically on race.
Mhm.
All departments typically are required to put like a slide on what are we doing with race. So that's not going away, and I believe we're going to do it again because, I'm sure we're doing it.
So with a lot of the recs, I know a lot of that has been racial equity focused, but have you also had work on like immigration status, national origin, familial status?
I think it's largely been centered on race, but I think other topics will come into that. There's
Yeah.
a lot of cross-linking there, but I think Cynthia probably can speak more thoroughly to what they're actually working on and what her plans are.
I just want, because I know there has been a lot of important work on race, but as far as employee anti-discrimination, these other aspects are also important, and sometimes like familial status is one that I've seen in a lot of places kind of goes lower down the list.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be one of the more challenging ones when you've got blended families,
Mhm.
single parents. Now having conversations about like gay marriage and marriage equality. So
I mean, we can certainly, I can extend an invitation to Cynthia for the May
Yeah.
meeting and see if she's available to come and sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of give you the.
She was part of this, so she would say yes.
I'm sure she's.
that'd be great. And yeah, the goal of this committee is to really be advisory and supportive of the county actions and not to like add extra.
Right. We're not gonna
Yeah.
have assignments.
Yeah.
I think it would be really helpful to talk to like the ERG group because they represent different swaths of the organization.
Yeah.
Because there are 11 of them and they are sort of, they're on kind of independent and they do their own thing. Would you want to pick certain ones or?
What are we looking for from them? Are we looking for what would be helpful, what would be most needed, in which case maybe we could survey that? How would you get 11 groups represented and then?
And some are more active than others.
Of course, yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Well,
And some are so active.
and I'm assuming they're wide variety of what brings them together.
Yeah, so I mean, I can go through them just to, to sort of have the scope. The Asian Heritage Alliance, Black Employee Council, Next Gen, which I think is sort of.
First generation American.
No, I
No.
think it's younger,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
folks who are, in their early part of their careers.
Okay.
Veterans, Alianza, which is a Hispanic group, Jewish ERG, Outstandings of LGBTQIA group. WOW is for women. Muslim employees group, employees with disabilities, and then parents and caregivers. And I don't know.
These are covering a lot of the main buckets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some are definitely more. My observation.
So with that, I think the idea of a survey, because I don't want to like cherry pick a couple ERGs because they're each going to have a different perspective. But the question would then be, what would we want to get from them? Because I think what we're looking for is there a gap in what the county is doing to support employees? And then there's the inevitable, if you identify a gap, is there the ability to do anything about it?
Yeah, so like in recruitment, for example, when you read the barrier analysis, they talk about, like HR says, we've given all the departments the tools to have diverse panels.
Mhm.
But what that means is you should have diverse panels. Now, whether people do it, it's a whole different thing
Yeah.
because the hiring manager is choosing the panel. We want to get to the stage where people have to determine whether I check, like, should I check your panel? I
Mhm.
don't want to do that, by the way, because then it becomes
Yeah.
really strenuous.
Yeah.
So it goes back to like, what do we want? Like, I'm not trying to identify, like, to make them choose what I think. I just want them to say, are there gaps?
Mhm.
And what do they think about those gaps? What should be done? And then we could review it and say, this is all over the place.
Yeah.
Is there anything to?
Yeah, because for instance, we do check your hiring panel, we do,
Mhm.
but one of the great things about Arlington County is that it does give each department the ability to manage to what works best for them, for their, who they're serving, their employee population, and what their goals are. So, and in some cases, maybe there isn't enough hiring to micromanage that, or there is extra time to lend to itself. So I just don't think, I like that there isn't a prescribed one size fits all.
Yeah.
Gotta do it this way.
Yeah. I think I generally agree with not being prescriptive
Yeah.
when you can, because you're never gonna have a policy that fits every situation.
Right.
But to the point of diverse panel being like a broad statement is maybe something for us to think about is there some sort of resource to put together that can help hiring managers understand, like, well, what do you mean by a diverse panel? Are you looking for diversity in seniority? Are you looking for diversity of life experiences?
I do believe that exists.
Okay.
Yeah, I do believe there's, for hiring managers and supervisors, there's a tab online, so I'm happy to confirm that, but. And again, I think the point was not that.
Not
there's-
prescriptive,
Yeah,
but like,
but it's not, are people aware of it?
yeah.
Are they implementing it? And, is it a problem? Not, my issue, if I can use the word issue, with the ERGs is why are they the ones, or, are they our core, or just our focus group of asking what gaps might exist and what can be done, if anything? Because that's 11 groups that representing, they all have their own viewpoint. What about, I don't want to do everybody, but I'm just saying, what about everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, some of it's, there's a bit of ease by having
Yeah.
people have already kind of self-selected into a group that aligns with one of their identities. And might bring up kind of front of mind that identity where there might be like discrimination. So I'm thinking like the caregivers ERG. That one you might get some different feedback that you don't normally get in
That makes
a
sense.
are people experiencing barriers at work that might be discriminatory.
Yeah, like childcare is a real issue
Yeah.
that comes up all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And from what I understand, the county's very flexible and very supportive, but like, you don't know until you ask. And all the parents I know tell me things all the time that shock me, that are new challenges.
So would a survey, using the word list, be as broad as that? What are some of the barriers to?
Yeah, I think we're almost still too early to come up with
Okay,
what
okay,
the
okay,
question is.
okay.
I think that's more of, we meet with rec and kind of get a sense of what are they working on, like what already exists, but trying to like think through what this would look like. Because any survey, what we want it to do is to inform something. So it'd likely be informing the report of, is there something the county can be doing to better support employees?
And I think that's a question we could ask Cynthia
Yeah.
as the race and equity manager for the county.
Agreed.
Sure, she'll bring up things that we haven't even thought of. that are like on her to-do list.
Yeah, because she does meet regularly with people from all across
Yeah.
the departments, and every department is so different. I think she might have some insights that she's hearing from different experiences before.
I think it's hard because we're reconstituting the HRC. It's still relatively new. This group is subcommittee still relatively new. It has been a long time since like the barrier analysis. And I think like, yes, 2023 doesn't maybe seem that long ago, but we're now 3 years out, like just getting some sort of pulse point of, okay, we've done a lot of progress. Is there something else we've learned? What can the next phase possibly look like within the constraints of there's tight budgets, there's only so many hours in a day.
And within the law.
Yes.
So many things that
Yeah.
the law restricts that we cannot do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, when the report says underrepresentation with women and people of color, the best you can really do is put your ads in places where you hope those groups would see it.
Mhm.
But you can't choose someone because they are any of those things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
When I was in RECT and Racial Equity Action Team,
Mhm.
one of the lessons I learned, I can't remember the name of the organization, we all had to do training from a general organization that is national. And one of the things they talked about was hiring. And they basically said, when you put requirements for someone that is applying for a job, you're limiting the opportunity of
Mhm.
people. Then again, like my question to them
Mhm.
was that like you have to have some kind of metric.
Yeah, that's a great point and something that I've encountered too, because have you guys heard the term the paper ceiling?
Mhm.
Where certain credentials are used as an easy metric to sort people out in hiring, but might not really be necessary for a job. So like a job requires a bachelor's degree when really it can be done with someone with a high school degree and work experience. And so some of those things can be considerations where that's not like targeted, but then the other side, like I'm a lawyer by training. I'm hoping the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office also has licensed attorneys as part of their hiring requirements.
As long as they make sense. to
Yeah,
The job requirement.
Yeah, like, do you need that credential to do that job? Like, I would hope who's ever doing some of the county finances has some sort of financial training and like a CPA.
Right. Building the buildings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Right, so it sounds like next steps are to invite Cynthia to the May meeting.
Okay.
And start thinking through what a potential survey, maybe through the employee resource groups, maybe something else to get some, almost like a pulse check of the county staff to inform what the final report will look like. And again, the report's really just trying to get a lay of the land, some recommendations, recognizing the realities that like there are constraints legally, budget, time.
I'll extend an invitation.
Right. And that should be a virtual meeting, so maybe that'll make it easier.
When is that one? That
May.
May? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
By then the budget will be out.
Mhm.
And then
Yes.
So that's a good time.
Really good timing, yeah.
So is there anything we should be working on between now and then?
It's really kind of what you want to do. I think I already shared the barrier analysis
Yeah.
and the AAP with you. If there's anything else that you want to review that might be informative, let me know and I'll see what I can do. You guys have done the training, seen the training. You know,
Yeah, in some ways I feel like, not to make you, but I mean, it does give you a sense of what's already been
Yeah.
accomplished and, you know. If part of the report is, you know, we confirmed that some of the actionable things that had been identified previously were being implemented, were being completed and tracked. That to me is like one area of accomplishment.
Yeah, that's a great call out and something we definitely want to include of all of the progress already made.
Right.
If there's anything that maybe HR might have some data or just
Yeah.
statistics that we can ask for them to share.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what, I'd have to look back to BA.
It might also be useful from just a level set of just some like demographic statistics of county staff for the report of like, my understanding is that county staff tend to be more diverse than the private sector and like.
I think a lot of
But I
that
could
is
be.
self-reported, so.
You do not, you know.
Yeah.
The other challenge is there are certain, just like with any job specialty where certain demographics are not as available, then, you know, then that's part of a larger system issue.
Yeah.
So just sheer numbers isn't always reflective of.
Yes,
Yeah.
but of what is available, just giving a sense of where the county is.
That would be helpful, because I think the barrier analysis had like demographic stuff in it somewhere, but didn't really look at it. But like, what has changed?
I can certainly ask.
Yeah, because it's like I've done a decent amount of work with like the sheriff's office and they
Mhm.
occasionally put out like they're the most diverse agency within the county for their side. I'm like, sure, I have no information of whether that's true or not.
Reason to disbelieve you.
I mean, I have seen many of the sheriff's office and they do seem to be a very diverse group, but I have no idea how that compares to parks.
So for me, I come from a world of data.
Mhm.
We should not be afraid of data. We should follow
Mhm.
what the data shows.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is the data and it's showing this. What's the story behind it?
Yeah.
And I will not interpret it for people, but you know, it's like during the election, first like the Virginia elections 4 years ago, critical race was such a big deal in the election. So after the election, I was still in REIT then. After that election, we deliberately made it that we did it after we brought some expert in to talk about what critical race is.
Yeah.
So we sometimes grab things that were happening right then to bring experts to talk about it,
Yeah.
not to tell you one way or the other what's right, but be informed. So moral of the story is like, I think we should just look at what the data says and go from there.
And I think in general, if we do any sort of pulse check of the county staff of a lot of the world is changing very quickly and just kind of having a pulse of like, well, what is top of mind as far as an employment concern? Like, what does support look like in 2026? Because yes, we want to make sure people aren't being discriminated against, but like, is there other sorts of training?
Right, so right now we, you know, and I don't know if other departments are doing this, we're putting on training for dealing with the population, the expectations, the way that they talk to customer service has nothing to do, or could, but you know, why can't I think of the word for that? But incivility,
Yes.
we're doing incivility support and
That sounds like a great use because I've
see
seen
it, feel it.
There, people are at a short fuse, and sometimes people lose grace of everyone being human in an interaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
And DHS, when I used to work, it customer experience.
That's a
So
problem.
I feel when you walk in, like the empathy, we talk a lot about empathy.
Well, and just some frustration, like I've talked to folks and like it's the permitting office of just sometimes the people get to them and they're already hot because they're just frustrated, not knowing what to do next.
And I don't know how you address that kind of topic because we've had some projects in AED where one part of, let's say, DES needs to get permit from another part of DES. And they're waiting. And then we come along and we're like, okay, fine, we're gonna talk to people.
Mhm.
And then we get it. So it's
Mhm.
like, I don't even know how to, it's like the way
Yeah.
things work.
Yeah,
In AED, our job is really, there's no wrong door. Anyone that calls us, we
Yeah.
direct them to wherever they need to go to, whether it's CPHD, whether it's permitting, wherever it is, because we're like the business arm.
Yep.
So we always feel like we have to market the county no matter what.
Yeah.
But there's some people that call us with so much frustration, and then we have to like hold their hands through the process and get the other departments to serve them.
and that can be tough. But refocusing to the point of this committee, which is on employee support and discrimination. What I'm thinking more is just if you are an employee in that tough situation, where are kind of your rights
Yeah.
as an employee? Because some of that is part of the job. You're gonna get, the person's already hot under the collar.
Yeah.
But there is a line where like the engagement becomes abusive or like
Even dangerous.
dangerous.
Yep.
And how are there appropriate supports that, county staff can come do their job effectively, safely.
Right. That is sort of what
Yeah.
we did the gathering, now we're in the policy formation.
Yeah.
pushing it out, and that's all gonna be incorporated.
And highlighting something like that in a report, I think would
Yes,
be
I
helpful.
agree.
Of like, especially since they go to the county board, to just put it more on the record of like
Yes.
what county staff are navigating
Well,
and how the county's supporting them in some difficult jobs.
so that just came up. I would have never thought to mention that except for the discussion. And so maybe that is one of the things that at some point prior to the report is just giving each department an option to tell us
Yeah.
whatever they want to tell us that they think, is supporting employees. And then we can decide whether it's
Yeah.
appropriate for this committee.
I think that would be good. And just,
Because so much good is going on that we might not even be aware of.
yeah, well, I think there's value in highlighting efforts to address true problems, but it also helps frame what
Yes.
staff are working on and like very sympathetic to, I've done some customer service roles in my past and like,
Yeah.
There's something in that moment where someone just doesn't see you as another human and it's hard.
But, and there's just value in knowing that your employer cares and supports you and does
Yeah.
agree that there is a line.
Yeah.
And that you don't have to stand there and think it. And then
Yeah.
give tools for that's sort of what the next step is.
Yeah.
What can happen now.
And then also to your point, I think coupling that with emphasis of customer service from county staff of like making sure there's an environment where the county agencies feel like they can better support and have better customer service. Cause I can understand if you just feel like you're getting yelled at all the time, you might not be motivated to go above and beyond to connect someone to the other department. Okay, so it sounds like we've got the outlines of a plan. Is there anything else folks wanna discuss? And anything we're missing and what we're required to do by the ordinance or?
No, I don't think so. I think you really are kind of on the right track.
I don't have. Else that we would like to propose wrapping up a little early. All right. No objections.
No objections.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Appreciate the conversation, and we will hopefully see Cynthia in May and learn